like electronics and very passionate about it, and used to get involved in organizing workshops for budding geeks in open source hardware, both like Arduino, Raspberry Pi, Intel Galileo, and was recognized as Intel Technical Mentor in Kerala and Firefox Student Ambassador. He have trained more than 1,000 budding geeks in various fields like web development, Arduino, robotics, and others. And he is now working with Kerala Startup Mission as the technical officer of Fab Lab. Before joining Kerala Startup Mission, he was the co-founder and business strategist at Foxlab Makerspace and was the program manager at Cisco Incubator. Welcome you, Nadeem.
Thank you, Srikuti, for the wonderful introduction.
And today, one more point. Today we have a co-host, and the team is St. Kitts College of Engineering, Kottayam. So a special thanks to the IEDC team over there and to the Nodal Officer Vinay Kumar sir, and to all participants. This Inspire to Innovate is conceived to engage the student community during this lockdown period. Any interested individuals can attend these sessions. So every day will be a 40-minute knowledge-packed interactive session where key speakers, including startup founders, academicians, and industry leaders will share their knowledge and experience. So the webinar scheduled today will be a 40-minute session. So you can type your questions in the Q&A box below the screen. I would request each of you to take this as a wonderful opportunity to connect with him and make the most out of this session. So I would like to formally invite Nadeem to take over the session. Thank you, Nadeem.
Thank you for the introduction, and thank you guys for joining the webinar. So let me start with you a like a wonderful quote. Give ordinary people the right tools, and they will design and build the most ordinary tools. So this will help to set the mind for the webinar throughout. So as we know, the topic we are going to cover is like technical prototyping platforms or the fabrication laboratories available in the globe, across the globe. So before diving deep into the topic, so let me take you through the question. What is a prototype? Really, what is a prototype means? So a prototype is, like, as we know, it's a really simple model of our design, right? To test and to test through the processes. So what is a prototype means in the design process? So as we know, on the all manufacturing processes, there are 4 major stages. So which is like the ideation, the design, the prototyping, and the production. So considering the 4 stages, so the first one, ideation. So ideation means making your idea rigid with various design thinking tools and etc. So once your idea is rigid, then you can move to the next stage of the design, so which is the design itself. So you will make the digital files of the your product, and then it will convert to a prototype. So this first prototype you made from the digital files is called, in the maker ecosystem, commonly called the zeroth prototype. So this zeroth prototype will have like many flaws in the design and everything. So we have to go back to the previous stage, which is the design. And in design we will so this is a there is a like this cycle, so called going from design to prototype and to and fro. So this process of refining our project is called iteration, as you may know. So this is why I told this is because like this is the bulkiest in terms of like effort and time when it gets to the design process. So excuse me. This process like of iterations before getting to the production can be covered in using the design, like the digital fabrication platforms such as Fablabs. So taking you through the DTP. So what happened in 1985? So in 1985, when desktop publishing was common and people was exposed to the independent printing and media, and they don't have to anymore rely on the commercial printing services. So this was a revolution in printing and media. So assets that happened in 1985. So right now, what is happening is the revolution of desktop manufacturing. So what desktop manufacturing really is? So it is, we can simply put it into words as like the ability to manufacture a physical item from your desktop, which is called the desktop manufacturing. We can also call the personal manufacturing or the personal fabrication itself. So this reinforces the individual capabilities and the extend the scope of making things using digital fabrication tools for sure. So now getting into the real deal Fab Lab, so we can hardly abbreviate into fabrication laboratories. So what really is Fab Lab is? So what it physically looks like. Some of you may know what a Fab Lab is and what it can provide. So so maybe today I'll be taking you to through perspective. So what Fab Lab physically is and what the Fab Lab really is for the concept of Fab Lab. So the physical Fab Lab, for those who don't know, I would say it will be on an average of 2000 square feet laboratory with sufficient advanced digital fabrication tools uh, where you can make your experiment really happen. So apart from this concept, the real we will throughout the slide we will get into the what is the inner core, the core ethos of Fab Lab is. So we can't start without mentioning this huge human, like a great human being. So he is Neil Gershenfield, the director of Center for Bits and Atoms and professor at MIT. So this is the man who is behind this global initiative called Fab Labs. So he had this concept of personal fabrication in 90s. So we can see his talks and everything like back dating from 90s itself. So he has set a framework in order to make the digital fabrication common across the globe. So now the most relevant part in the Fab Lab, which is like the physical thing that we see in a Fab Lab, is the machines. So let's talk about the machines. What machines we have in Fab Labs? So coming to the first one, the 3D printer for sure. So 3D printer is the one guy with lots of hype going on. So there are I will take you through what are the types of 3D printers and what it can really do, and how in the later in the slide, and you'll get to know how you can contribute and how you can access these machineries and all. Okay, so now let's getting into the 3D printer. So there are basically different types of 3D printers, so called FDM, FFF. So FDM and FFR are like a similar sort of 3D printer, which is called fused deposition modeling and fused filament fabrication. So this printer is the common printer that we see with the filament that we're feeding into the 3D printer, and it prints layer by layer, and we get a physical model in the end. So this is the FDM or FFF model. So apart from this common model, there are other 3D printing model as well, so called SLA. SLA is called, we can abbreviate it to stereolithography. So which is like it's a resin based technology where we print layer by layer by making use of various resins based on our needs and requirements. So apart from the resin based, we have the powder based as well. So it is called the MJF. So we can abbreviate it to as multi-jet fusion, multi-jet fusion 3D printer. So that is a technology where thermoplastic polymers are used, and with the help of the source of light, and it is converted and it's hardened. So not going more depth into it, and to get you, hope you get a basic understanding about that, which is like we have multiple sort of 3D printers, so called FDM, FFF, like SLA, MJF, and SLS as well. So now coming to the 3D scanning. So this module opens up the virtue of like reverse engineering in Fab Labs. So what it has do is like we can convert a physical object back into a digital file, and on the computer we will get the design 3D model where we can like work on the iteration and print it again. So this is PCB milling machine, which is like I will say like a heart of Fab Lab. So as you can see in Fab Lab, we use like a tiny, there are different types of like electronic components available in the market. So we use so-called surface mount components. So you can see in the image, so which are so tight, so tiny. And this machine, so-called modular MDX20, which is capable enough to mill highly precise printed circuit boards. So we can apply it to PCB here in Fab Lab. So you will be making your own custom PCB or printed circuit boards in Fab Labs for your project. So of course, when we have like the PCB made, we need to add the components into it, right? So we will have the like electronic workbench along with the testing equipment as well. So this is the biggest guy in the Fab Lab, in the mini Fab Lab and the normal Fab Lab. So you will get to know why I mentioned the mini Fab Lab and the Fab Lab later. So this machine is a CNC router which have the capability to move in 3 axes, and it can mill different materials from MDF, aluminum, and various other materials as well. So it is made use of in make use of like to make furnitures and also to make molds as well. So so laser cutter. So when you ask me which is the most common used machine in the Fab Lab, so there will be two: the 3D printer and the laser cutter for sure. So laser cutter, there are it is capable to engrave and cut various materials like acrylic, craft wood, etc. And based on the capacity of the laser, the laser machine, it can cut up to various depths. So vinyl cutter. So after you have made a product, after all, this lab is for a to make your dream project come to reality, right? So once you are done with the project, you can work with the branding on the vinyl cutter, and also we are using vinyl cutter for making use of like uh, to make your own branded T-shirts and everything for screen printing. Molding and casting. Molding and casting is a process, and we have all the required tools and equipments that is to be needed in order to make this done. So when it gets to if you need a material for your project in bulk, so rather than relying on the 3D printing, we will go for the molding and casting, and it depends absolutely it will depend on the project your design complexity as well. So let's come to the real deal. So we have all these machines and everything. So what it does really do to the society, and how we can change what's the impact of this kind of labs in the society, and what it can really do. So considering the situation right now, the COVID-19, as you know, novel corona, the disaster situation we have right now. So what Fablab did, how Fablab reacted to it, and what uh, what extent like a Fablab was capable to overcome, or at least like support in that way. So this is a funny and relevant cartoon by one of my friend in Germany. So this from the image you can see that the maker he's casting out the virus using the digital fabrication tool. We can interpret that way. So these images shows us hope actually. So there are various fab labs working on the COVID-19 situation, and they were capable enough to make sufficient quantities of uh, even the protection shields and everything using the global community. So what we have done is this, the respiratory apparatus. So this respiratory apparatus is automating the ambu bag. as you know, the ventilator is one of the key thing that we may need on on the time of corona. So what respiratory apparatus do? It's automate the ambu bags. Ambu bags are like similar to it can similar to like it can provide artificial what we say breath in times of emergency or shifting from ventilator to ventilator. So we are right now here using the making use of the ambu bags and converting this into in automated one. Here we are not only the mechanical thing part, but also we are controlling the three parameters. So what are the three parameters we can control with this? So we can control the respiratory rate, the tidal volume, and the inhale to exhale ratio. So which matters to life actually. So what else we did after apart from this respiratory apparatus? So we have 3D printed the swabs. So what is swab? The test swab, or the we can call the nasal swabs or post-pharyngeal swabs are the material that is used to collect the samples in order to test corona positive or not. We are using biocompatible materials using the 3D printing uh, methodologies. So that's what I mentioned, the types of 3D printing. So here we are using the powder based 3D printer and the resin based 3D printer, and using the biocompatible material, we were able to make sufficient test swabs as well. And I'm proud to say that we were able to replace one machine part in Kerala State Drugs and Pharmaceuticals. So as you know, uh, the whole supply chain is stuck due to the corona virus, and in a sudden the Kerala Drug Pharmaceuticals got sorry got one machine got like broke, and there were no other ways to get it run. So that was actually a paracetamol making machine which has the capability to make around 20 lakh paracetamols in a day. And somehow they reached us, and we were able to replicate the part, and it is running fine right now. And also we have made personal protective equipment. So in India itself, like all the platform along with the Fab Labs, we have made around 1 lakh 1 lakh face shields as per now. So let's talk about our network, Fablab Kerala. So Fablab Kerala is a huge community, even in the global scale. So people around the globe are looking like the model of Fablab Kerala and going to implement it. So Kerala Startup Mission is the governing agency of Fablab Kerala, or in other way we can put in a sense like Fablab Kerala is a wing of Kerala Startup Mission to strive through in digital fabrication. So let me take you 3 days. This is an interesting stuff to deal with. So what Fablab Kerala poses? So back to the journey. Our government, Kerala government, started Fablab with only two Fablabs, one in Trivandrum and one Kochi. So due to the impact of the Fablab among the members, the government has decided to pan the project across the Kerala, and there were 22 mini Fab Labs were implemented all across Kerala, considering the geographical distribution as well. So this not only enables not only we can stress on the numbers, but this opens up the virtue of the distributed manufacturing as well. So one of the mini Fab Lab has developed like the face shields, and they are and setting examples for other mini Fab Labs, and they are like donating the face shields with the authorized government entities as well. So now coming to the hero, the Super Fab Lab. So Super Fab Lab is really an exception. So considering the case, it is the only one Fab Lab that is that is there in the globe outside MIT. So Super Fab Lab is capable enough to make the machine that is needed for Fab Labs and mini Fab Labs. So we will get deep into it. So I will talk about like more about the Super Fab Lab machines. We talked about the mini Fab Lab and the Fab Lab machines. So we can talk about the super fab lab machine. So how is it different? So this is a Swiss made, we call it Zund, Swiss made format cutter that can be used in bulk production capabilities. So it is it is mainly used in the bulk manufacturing side. If you want to make a package or cut parts for your project, it's basically a CNC, but quite faster and reliable. So this machine right here is like a water jet cutter by Omax. So this machine is capable enough to cut metals of thickness around 6 to 6.5 inches with water. Yes, you heard it right, with water. Yeah, with water and the combination of the abrasive sands, we can cut the metals into we can give a precise cut actually. So this is Tormac, which is like a automated CNC lathe. So this is another laser cutter for sure, but here it is a fiber laser, so which enhances the capabilities of the cutting rather than the normal CO2 cutter, which is available in mini lab and the normal fab lab. So even with this machine, we can even cut we can even like fabricate PCBs. So this is injection molding. So you can make your own enclosures in the lab with with the help of this machine. So uh, we have the most the advanced pick and place machine and as well as the testing equipment. So one of the machine you can see here is Lynx Avo. So what it does do is it's a 3D microscope. If you keep your phone under this microscope, you can distinguish the RGB the arrangement, and you can find out whether it is OLED or the other one. So this is also a 3D printer. So I'm just, let me see if some chats are coming in. Okay. So this is also kind of 3D printer. This is so-called the powder-based 3D printer we have in the facility. So apart from all the 3D printers, we have a 3D printer farm itself, which consists of 14 plus 3D printers. So which multiple multiple type as well. So FDM and SLAs. So we have 5 of Prusas, Syndos, and Form Labs as well. So this is like a 3D scanner, so which serves the same purpose to reverse engineer your physical data into the digital data, but a professional one. Now we have all these machines, right? So what can we really do with it? What are the projects that can, if I show some projects, you will get to know like what we can really do with Fab Lab. So let's see, irrespective of your domain, what domain you are coming from, we can make use of these digital fabrication platforms, and we can make projects in our own field. So let's come to this one. This is an sustainable, fully sustainable housing that is created by Fablab Barcelona. So Barcelona, that can be used in emergency cases, in refugee camps, etc. So this is the one of the toy that is made in Fab Lab for differently able kids, which is 4 to 7 years old. They are making use of the hand gestures to interact with them. So things are getting serious now. So even one guy from Fab Lab Amman, which is in Jordan, has worked on the nano satellite, and this his work is identified by NASA, and he's got an internship in NASA, and he is a part of JY1 SAT, which is the first a nano satellite that is launched in Jordan. So this is like an open source project for cars who is working on the electronic cars. So there is a base for you. You don't have to. This is an open source project, so they have all the design and documentation in the repository. So you don't have to work from the scratch. You can start along with all the all the resources. So here it's the same thing, but it gets more into how to make materials. So it's an open source. This is a project where we are stressing on like basically biomass availability on the locally and making use of regenerative circular economy. And you can make biomaterials such as pigments and etc. and uh, pigments and etc. as well. So I'm just fast getting a faster pace due to the time crunches. So this is a phone that is made in Fablab. So the one guy who is made it is like a co-founder of the Arduino electronic platform. So what it can do is like you will get a box of different components. You can plug it in, use your real SIM, and you're good to go with the phone. So prosthetics, here comes the game. So the impact in society. So this guy has made his own leg and the way he need. So this also shows us the impact that can be give in the society. So this is also some open source design of the furnitures available with Fablabs. Now I'm trying to say about this part. So the machines that came from the Fab Lab that is now ruling the industry, the Ultimaker. The Ultimaker is one of the leading 3D printer in the FDM, and it came from Fab Lab. It was one of the Fab Lab project, and this is also Sim CNC that came from Fab Lab and now which is in the market right now. So this is Shaper, which, as I told you, like the biggest part of a normal Fab Lab is the CNC, right? So this is a portable CNC which is capable enough to mill and make the furnitures. So that is making use of the mixed reality and digital fabrication and uh, this is Formlabs, the resin-based printer, the world's, I will say, the top-notch resin-based printer available, uh, which is based from the Fab Lab itself. So this is one of the project by Barcelona. So this is like a more into analytics thing. So this device is assembled all over the city, and they can identify about the humidity and other parameters considering the air pollution and stuff. So this is interesting. So this is a floating Fab Lab, the whole sustainable floating Fab Lab that is planning in Amazon. So this whole Fab Lab is float in Amazon, fully sustainable. So I'm skipping this right now. If you have time, I will come back to it. So, so let's talk about the Fab Lab network. So there are coming to the volume, there are 1,750 plus Fab Labs across the globe, spread in like 100 plus countries. So which is like increasing day by day as well. So Fab Foundation is the governance agency of all the Fab Labs in the world. So Laszlo. So this is a funny and quite interesting observation by the lead of Fab Foundation itself. She is called Sherry Lassiter. So what she found out is like we know Moore's law, right? What Moore's law says, the number of transistor in a microchip increases uh, in not increases, doubles in every 2 years. So so based on this observation, we have like an analog observation on the number of Fab Labs itself. So what Lassiter has observed is like every 1.5 year, like 1.5 year, the number of Fab Labs is doubling. So we are expecting to have much more Fab Labs coming soon. So getting more into your part, how can you benefit and what are the programs that is offered in the Fab Lab? So coming to the big guy, yeah, Fab Academy. So Fab Academy is a digital fabrication diploma that is offered by Fab Foundation, and it's like more into hands-on thing, get practical and get into things. So this is a 20-week program where each week will be an assignment. So the first few weeks, like around first 7 weeks, you will get to know about you'll be expert in using all the machines in the Fab Labs. So after that, the game begins. You will get to know like how to integrate my idea and how to collaborate. Simply, we can say how to convert our code and design into physical projects. So and also we will learn the advanced the machine usage, methods and etiquettes for sure. If you complete this course, or if you complete this course, how will you get benefited? So you will be part of this community, this global community. So if you have a questions to ask, and if you have to work some projects to work on, then whole globe is there is to answer you. And if you want some research assistance, so since Fab Lab is closely associated with MIT, you will get assistance from MIT as well. So coming to the Fab conference, Fab conference is an annual digital fabrication world conference that is happening in every year in different part of the world. So what is a Fab-city challenge? So I'm just going through what are the programs we have in Fab Foundation and Fab Labs. So when it comes to Fab-city challenge, so it is a long-term goal, it's a goal for 40 years, and the time is still ticking now. And what it does it's a challenge for creating self-sustainable urban models. Okay, so in Barcelona, so in the picture you can see the whole city itself is a prototype. So they are working on the enhancement of the sustainability of urban cities. So scope DF, scope DF is something that work on like into our level, like the K-12 education. So scope DF in a word we can say it is setting digital fabrication frameworks for K-12 education and of course the STEM education. Now getting to the Fab Lab research. So as I said, if you have a project and you want to you want to still stick on with your project, you can get aligned with MIT team, as you know, which is the best research facility we have in the world. And Kerala Startup Mission have an MOU in the region with MIT, like Center for Bits and Atoms, in order to share the resource materials from MIT as well. So Fab 2.0, what is Fab 2.0? In the concept of Fab 2.0 is machines making machines, like the lab which is making its machines like whatever it necessary with the available fabrication tools we have. So coming into Academy, Academy is the courses offered by the Fab Foundation. So we have already talked about the Fab Academy, so which is about digital fabrication. So we have the other two, which is the Bio Academy and the Fab Academy. So what Bio Academy does is it works more on the biology, and of course the name depicts Fab Academy is more on the textile industry. But apart from just biology and the textile industry, it's also open up integration of the digital fabrication into all these domains. So I have gone through a quick phase. I know, because I just wanted to interact with you. I just wanted to hear the doubts from you. And also I wanted to convey the stuff here. So in the later seminars, for sure, we will keep in touch, and for connecting any queries or any help you need. I'm dropping the mail ID of our team, like a fabhelp@startupmission.in. So you can make use of this mail ID, and we can keep in touch. So thank
Thanks,
you guys.
Nadeem. You want to say something? I mean, yeah, please.
No, I'm good. Just go ahead.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Nadeem, for that detailed presentation on Fab Labs and Fab Lab research happening all over the world. So we have a few questions in the Q&A box. You can just click on the Q&A tab below that, bottom of that window.
Okay, let me figure it out.
Participants, you can ask your questions on the Q&A box. The speaker will be replying to you live.
Okay. So I can see one of the question is is Fab Lab a franchise to private person also? Okay, so someone is asking on the governance or like
Correct.
the good how who owns FabLab. So FabLab is a like a digital fabrication lab, and it can be owned by anyone. So there are certain norms and rules that we have to taken care of and get approved from the Fab Foundation team. And Startup Mission will be the regional procurement agency for that as well. So if you can ping us on the mail ID provided, we can take care of that. So
Okay.
yeah, I can see Fab Lab training program details, any program for working professionals. For sure, there are programs for this is not restricted to any age group or certain things like that. So we have like we have one Fab graduate who is around 10 years old. Yeah, and we have person who is coming like around 50, 60 years old, like who is like father of our one of my Fab graduate as well. So there is nothing like a age limit or something. You can just jump in, and we are also providing we have intensive courses and regular on the regular page as well. So you can also ping us and keep a eye on our official channels for the details.
So
Yeah.
it would be updated in our Startup Mission website and Fab Lab
Exactly,
website, right?
exactly. There are
Okay.
it will be updated in both in Startup Mission website as well as we have like a social media platform from FabLab itself. You can find you can catch us on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook as well. Yeah,
It's Fab Lab Kerala, right?
FabLab Kerala. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. The next question is in work
So,
arena.
yeah, I can see some questions on pricing. So, so I want to actually comment on that. The pricing in FabLab is like a steel deal actually. So since it's a government agency, we are providing it on a subsidized right, so that it is like we are charging around only a less for the namesake we can say. And if you have a good project, we can support in terms of mentorship as well. So on the question I can see is is Fab Academy available in Kerala? Of course it is. And we are one among the best node with highest number of Fab graduates in the region. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Next one. Fab Academy is a hands-on academy or an online course.
no, it's not at all an online course. You can imagine, it's a whole lot perspective. It's as we can say, it's an integration of the online and the hands-on. So all the assignments will be purely on experiential learning. So you will get an assignment which is given to you on every Wednesday, which is the that session is led by the founder himself, which is Neil Gershenfeld, the scientist from MIT. So he will be reviewing your projects as well. So in this, there is an algorithm such as in this whole course, you will get reviewed at least once, and it's all hands-on, purely hands-on. Yeah.
Okay. Next is when are you going to start new academy calendar?
Okay, so on that note, like we have already planned something on some intensive programs from April onwards, but due to the current situation, we are stuck. And hopefully, let's pray everything will get back soon, and we will be surely uh, like uh, uh, providing all the details on that. Yeah.
So is there any
and
online
and
course?
I think on that note, if he asked on the if the ask is particularly on the Fab Academy or the diploma course offered by the Fab Foundation, so it is it starts every Jan of so it's a 6 month long course. So every year there will be one course. So it starts on Jan and ends in July. Yeah.
Okay. So there's a question on the top. I mean, what projects or initiatives has Kerala Fab Lab have been involved in prior to COVID-19 to get a sense of the scope or scale of where this can be used?
Sure, sure, sure. So I can tell you some there are different types of projects that is that is happening in Fab Labs and before COVID-19 and also after COVID-19 as well. So taking a few examples, we can say are doing one a book scanner, which was a custom requirement from CDAC, which is a government entity as well. So whatever problem we have actually the concept of Fab Lab is not just the machines. So as Neil he used to say every time, local people finding local problems and solving it. So that's the concept of Fab Lab, not just a room with a whole bunch of machines. So we have like a multiple projects. We have made a wire cutter recently based on a requirement. Also, we are getting localized problem as well right now. So one of the interesting project will be one guy who is making the what we can say that it's called chenda in Malayalam, one of the percussion instrument. So he just wanted to soothe the what we say uh, like uh, uh, the skin of the skin of the cow. So which is quite a task. When he came, then only I I could imagine how hurdle it is. It's getting to this point. We are solving problems, the local problems, using the local solutions and the facilities we have. And the Super Fab Lab and the Fab Labs across the network is helping us for doing that. Yeah.
I think there was a requirement from a doctor for doing a surgery as well, right? I mean, Trivandrum, it seems some illustrations of
Yeah,
uh,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, Razik. There were multiple projects. Even we have, I forgot to mention that we have made one this thermometer as well recently. So
Yeah.
when the deficiency when the COVID-19 hit the supply chain market, so we were able to fabricate some of the IR thermometers as well. So there are the projects are is whatever you can imagine, we can make sure it can be done. So
Great.
the course itself says you can make almost anything. Yeah.
So there are a few more questions. Can we
If we
avail the
have
piece of yeah, the costing part you have mentioned? How can we be part of this? Being a first year student, what all can we do? Okay.
so can you repeat that?
How can we be part of this Fab Lab? And being a first year, what all can we do? That
For sure. So the Fab Lab is also opening up the concept of like extra 20 hours. So as you may know, there is a concept called extra 20 hours. So apart from our work and everything, so if we have like the real passion towards the digital fabrication, so in Western, it's a West culture, and we are bringing it here right now. So what it does do is like if you have project, find at least 20 hours in a week, and you can collaborate with us. And there are experts and expert mentors in various digital fabrication domains, and we can connect even to the global mentors if you have a specific thing on that. And as we said, we are aligned with the Center for Bits and Atoms, and we have an MOU signed with Kerala Startup Mission. So if it's a really serious thing and you want to really stick on to the research, we can ping directly to the MIT, and you will get access to the MIT research materials as well.
okay. So another question now: these Fab Lab machines used by manufacturing companies to mass produce products. Any examples of commonly? I mean, so you want to
Yeah, I got it.
add
Yeah.
something?
Yeah. So so Ajit, it's not about manufacturing to mass produce. So as I said, so we can do that. So there are certain stages for every every process, as I showed you. So the first one is ideation, the second one is like the design, the third one is like prototyping. So the design and the prototyping is the stages where like the iteration takes place. So just after that is the manufacturing jumps in. So we can't go to the manufacturing. We can do that up to extent in Super Fab Lab for sure. But generally, in case of like a Fab Lab, no, it's not about mass production, but the pre-production stage until the final prototype. Yeah.
So you can just scroll down if you feel any relevant
Uh,
questions. So many
okay.
questions about 20.
Akhilesh has asked like how you think the student can utilize Fab Labs. So there are multiple million lot of ways you can make use of Fab Labs, Akhilesh. So the one thing, the common trend that found in colleges is like if we have a project, we give it to some project agency, right? So instead of that, try pinging us, come to Fab Labs and let's do it together. and if you have an idea, we can make it to a real prototype. And also it will enhance your the way of thinking. So as I said, it's not just a room with a bunch of machines, so it's a concept embedded in it. So if you come to Fab Lab and get used to the etiquettes and the standards and what's going in, so you will get to know the global trend and what's happening in the industry, which helps you get the job. And even the Fab Academy itself is like helping to get the job for many. I know one guy who is from I think he's from Italy, and he just finished the Fab Academy. So and the previous experience was the digital fabrication only. So once after he is done with uh, the Fabric Academy, which is the course on textiles, he got a senior level job in Nike. Yeah. So the scope and hopes are like you can never imagine. Yeah.
Okay. Any weekend courses on Fab Labs? That's what another questions.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. We have multiple types of courses. So we have something called a Fab Saturday. So what Fab Saturday do is the course is break down, and for students like you, in order to complete it in a lower pace. So every Saturday you can come in, and every Saturday you will be doing one assignment. So which will be on a specific machine. So based on your interest, you can choose on that. And of course, this is happening. And due to the COVID-19, everything is stuck, and we'll get back to you on that for sure.
So next is, where will be the assignments done?
Uh, can you repeat the question, please?
Where will the assignments be done? In the sense,
Okay.
they're asking for what
So
assignments?
what I understood is where it is done on physical aspects, I think. So it is done on the laboratory itself. So we have a wonderful facility in Kochi and Trivandrum and in many other places as mini Fab Labs as well. So the right now Fab Academy is happening in Kochi and Trivandrum, and yeah, there is a wonderful facility. Even if you don't want to do anything, just come and visit us one day. You will get to know what uh, how you can convert your dream into a reality. Yeah.
So is the machines at Super Fab Lab available to anyone outside KSUM and Maker Village to do their prototyping activities? I think.
So it's not restricted to KSUM or Make Village or something like that. So how we deal with is if you have a real serious project, then you are done. We got you. If you have serious project and you have worked on it, and we felt it like a serious project, and you have some work done before as well. So irrespective of what background or what, nothing matters really. So if the one who works has the role in the Super Fab Lab, and for the time being it's not open to the public. You can't just jump in and work on that, since Super Fab Lab is a 14 crore worth resource. So we are not, but under the supervision of the right mentors and the machine owners, you will get to work with the of course you have the access to the Super Fab Lab machines for sure.
So they can approach by sending an email, right?
Yeah, yeah. I have kept the email. It's
Great.
fabhelp at startupmission.in, or you can ping me as well. So my name is Nadeem. So you have to just put Nadeem at startupmission.in. Yeah,
Fabhelp at startupmission.in. I'll be keying it in the chat box.
that will be great. Yeah.
Okay.
So do we have any comments or questions, please?
There are more of around 8, 10, 15 questions more. What we will do is we can consolidate all the questions, and as we have already passed the time, so we can consolidate all the
Sure,
questions and send it to you. You
sure,
can answer
Isaac.
the question on convenience, and then
Sure.
we'll publish it on the IEDC website. So thank you
Okay.
so much, Nadeem. You have
So thank you guys. Thank you for all the patience and your time I have taken. So thank you guys. Thank you for the
Thank you.
opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So participants, the next session will be on tomorrow. It's at 5 p.m. and the subject is how to market a SaaS product.